Here's something that should make you uncomfortable. The woman who arguably did more than anyone else to make modern AI possible, who built the data set that kickstarted the deep learning revolution, spent years being treated as a diversity hire. Not by obscure critics, by people inside the field she helped create. Fei-Fei Li built ImageNet. Without ImageNet, there is no AlexNet. Without AlexNet, there is no GPU race, no deep learning boom, no GPT. She is foundational. And yet, her memoir is full of moments where she had to fight to be taken seriously in rooms that her own work had made possible. That tension between her enormous scientific contribution and the casual dismissal she faced is what makes this book more than just an AI origin story. It's a document of who gets credit and who doesn't. The Worlds I See was published in November 2023. It's part memoir, part AI history, written by Fei-Fei Li, a Stanford professor, former chief AI scientist at Google Cloud, and one of the most cited researchers in computer vision. She's now leading the Stanford Human-Centered AI Institute, which is relevant to everything she argues in this book. This is not a technical book, it's not a policy book, it's a personal narrative that uses her own life, immigrant daughter, physics student, AI pioneer, as a lens for thinking about what AI is and who it should serve. If you want AI books broken down with a critical eye, what they get right, what they miss, and what's changed since they were published, subscribe now. That's exactly what this channel does. New video every week. Okay, let's get into it. Li's central argument is deceptively simple. The problem with AI isn't the technology, it's the narrowness of the people building it. She believes AI has been captured by a small, homogeneous group optimizing for capabilities and commercial scale, while almost nobody in the room is asking what the technology should do for actual human beings. Her prescription is what she calls human-centered AI, a framework where empathy, diversity, and real-world human needs are built into research from the start, not bolted on as ethics disclaimers at the end. The book earns this argument. She doesn't just assert it, she shows how ImageNet itself was the product of a different way of thinking. Where her peers were focused on toy datasets and narrow benchmarks, she wanted to map the full visual world that humans inhabit. That instinct to start with human perception rather than machine metrics is what made ImageNet work. The data reflected reality because she insisted on it. She makes a specific, pointed observation about the AI research culture she entered. She describes how conferences were dominated by a particular profile, mostly men, mostly from a handful of elite institutions, mostly competing on narrow technical leaderboards, and how that homogeneity quietly shaped what questions got asked, not through malice, but through the invisible gravity of shared assumptions. Her most powerful line lands early. She writes that AI is not made by machines, it is made by people, and the values of those people, conscious or not, end up embedded in the systems they build. That's the argument. And on its face, it's hard to disagree with. Now here's where I want to push back, because the argument is right and the book is good, but there are three things it either misses, avoids, or gets overtaken by events. First, the structural critique doesn't go far enough. Li is very good at identifying that the AI field has a people problem. She's less willing to name the institutional structures that create and sustain it. The book talks a lot about the need for more diverse researchers, more empathetic questions, more human-centered thinking, but it doesn't spend much time on why those things are systematically excluded, the funding incentives that reward benchmark performance over social utility, the publication system that makes it rational to work on impressive demos rather than messy, real-world problems, the venture capital structure that selects for scale above all else. The book diagnoses the symptom, a narrow field serving narrow interests, without fully dissecting the economic machinery that keeps reproducing it. If you want that deeper structural analysis, you have to go elsewhere. Timnit Gebru's work or Cathy O'Neill's Weapons of Math Destruction get closer to the engine room. Second, the Google Cloud chapter is thin in exactly the places it matters most. Li joined Google as chief AI scientist in 2017 and left in 2018. Her tenure coincided with Project Maven, Google's AI contract with the US military for drone targeting, which triggered a major employee revolt and eventually Google's withdrawal from the contract. Li's name appeared in leaked emails in which she reportedly expressed concern about the company being seen as a weapons company. That's a genuinely important moment in AI ethics history. The book addresses none of this directly. She discusses her time at Google in broad terms, the scale of the company, the opportunity, the challenges, but the most consequential controversy of her tenure is essentially absent. That's a notable gap in a book explicitly about human-centered values in AI. Third, and most importantly, the world has moved fast since this was published in late 2023. Li's framework of human-centered AI was conceived in an era of narrow AI, computer vision systems, recommendation engines, specialized tools. The book was written as large language models were exploding into public consciousness, but it doesn't fully grapple with what GPT-4, Claude, or Gemini-class systems mean for her thesis. The Human-Centered AI Institute at Stanford, which she leads, has been wrestling with this in real time. But the book itself feels like it was completed just before the most urgent version of its own questions became unavoidable. The AI alignment debate, the risks of general purpose systems, the question of whether human-centered is even a coherent design principle for models that interact with hundreds of millions of people simultaneously, none of that gets the treatment it deserves. She's right about everything she says. She just says it about an AI landscape that was already being superseded as the ink dried. So here's my actual recommendation for you. Read it, but read it as a primary source, not a blueprint. If you work in AI, you should read this book not because it will tell you what to do next, but because it is one of the clearest articulations of how the field got here, written by someone who was in the room. Li's account of building ImageNet is worth the price alone. The story of how a data set that changed everything was built on a $50,000 grant with crowdsourced labor by a junior researcher that nobody took seriously. That's important institutional history that isn't written down anywhere else. The human-centered AI framework she describes is genuinely valuable as an orientation, a set of questions you should be asking about who your system serves and what it costs them. But don't treat it as a strategy. The framework was designed for an era of narrow AI tools, and we're not in that era anymore. The practical thing to take away is this: she is right that the people in the room shape the values in the system. That principle doesn't expire, but the mechanism by which those values get embedded and the scale at which they now propagate has changed dramatically since she developed the framework. If you want the complement to this book, the version that grapples with the more recent, more dangerous AI landscape, I'd pair it with Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence for the capabilities risk side, or Kate Crawford's Atlas of AI for the labor and infrastructure critique that Li skims over. Read the book, take the argument seriously, and then ask the harder questions it doesn't quite reach. Next week, I'm covering Atlas of AI, the book about Sam Altman and OpenAI that's already generating more controversy than almost anything published in the AI space this year. There are people who think it's the most important tech book in a decade. There are people, including some very prominent names in Silicon Valley, who want you to think it's hit piece journalism. I'll let you decide after I've taken it apart properly. That video goes up next Thursday. Before you go, one question for the comments. Fei-Fei Li's whole argument is that AI needs more diverse, more empathetic people at the table. But in the 2 years since this book came out, the most consequential AI systems have been built by a tiny group of researchers moving faster than any institution can govern. So here's what I want to know. Do you think human-centered AI is still a viable design principle for frontier models? Or has the scale of these systems made it an empty phrase? That debate is worth having. Drop your answer below.